All right, welcome back to Unsealed, everybody. I know it's been a little bit since I've opened a new game, but it is time to do so. And before we do that, let's go ahead and give a little bit of background for tonight's main event. Back in 1995, the PlayStation was released here in the United States. It was September 9th, 1995. This game wasn't a launch title, but it came out soon afterwards, and to me at least was one of the more impressive PlayStation games for the time. Enter a game called Destruction Derby, which was published by Psygnosis and developed by Reflections. Now, Reflections would go on to develop the Driver series of games, which started, I believe, in 1998, was the original Driver, and then Driver 2 came out, I believe, a year or two afterwards. And it uses the same general driving model. It's a mix between arcade and simulation. But with Destruction Derby, what really stands out, of course, is that you can really mangle other cars. When you're racing, the idea is to try and finish first, of course, but you also want to try and cause as much damage as you possibly can. You get damage for taking out other cars, you get damage for spinning them around, for collisions, and the idea is to get as many points as possible. So if you go through a race and you don't hit a single car and you finish first, you may not necessarily get as many points as you would as, say, if you finish third or fourth but wind up taking down 2 or 3 cars on your way to the finish line. So there's a little bit of strategy involved in terms of the racing. For me, the racing was fun, but it was all about getting into the bowl and doing an actual demolition derby. You against a bunch of other cars, last car standing, trying to last as long as you possibly can. And I'll tell you, back in 95, and even now when I play the game, you still get that feeling of tension, that feeling of excitement as you're trying to survive as long as you possibly can, realizing that you can't go head on into another car, that you really have to use your rear end or try and spin out other cars in order to get more points, in order to cause more damage. So there's more strategy to it than just taking on another car head on. You can't do that. 2 or 3 hits head on and your car is going to be done. So there's a strategy to it. It's very exciting. It's a lot of fun to play, and it's still fun to play today as the game is now, let's see, 95, so 23 years old, this game, and it's one of my long box games, so it's a really cool find. So you probably guessed by now that tonight's Unsealed game has something to do with Destruction Derby, and that's because it is the direct sequel. Enter 1996's Destruction Derby 2, released in 1996, again published by Psygnosis and developed by Reflections. You can actually see the Sears sticker for $59.99. Games for the PlayStation were usually $49.99. That was the MSRP at this time. So a game for $59.99 at Sears, they were taking a little bit of advantage of their customer base if you bought this brand new before price cuts came into effect. Was the game worth $59.99? It's tough to say. Me personally, I like the sequel. There's a really great soundtrack. The game is fast, even though the frame rate isn't where we really want it to be. I like the new tracks designs. The cars catch a lot of air. And at the same time, you still get different places to do destruction or demolition derbies if you want to. So that's pretty cool. I really like this game a lot, and we'll talk about it more as soon as I get it open. So let's go ahead and we're going to try and get this open without taking too long. Let's see here. Unfortunately, the tab is a little bit difficult to get to. So there we go. I think I have it. Apparently you need long nails for this, or like scissors or something. There we go. So we're going to open this up. I'm going to try and do this on camera so you can see it. So there goes the Sears sticker. And let's see if I can... Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to hit the microphone. So we're taking that off just like that. And it does still have the seal on the top of it. Destruction Derby 2. There you go. And we're going to take that off. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the game here. So we're going to take the security label off. All right. We'll put that right there. So the best-selling smash 'em up ever. I'm sorry, let me try that again. The best-selling smash 'em up ever is back on track, and this time the tracks, explosions, and chromium Car-nage are bigger and better than ever before. You race on 7 tracks this time, wider, faster, and longer, plus 4 brand new total destruction bowls. And that's really the cool thing if you like the destruction derbies or the demolition derbies like I do, is now you have 4 places to compete in. You can repair your beaten up auto using the new pit stop feature. That's always nice to try and keep the races going. It does talk about air. You can flip, roll, and cartwheel your car in 3D. So this was before burnout was a thing, remember. So being able to flip your car around and catch air was a pretty cool feature. Realistic suspension means vehicles handle like the real thing. I don't know how I necessarily feel about that. This model is a bit more forgiving than driving a real car. Make wheels, car hoods, and other debris go flying. That is true. There are pieces of the car that are definitely more detailed than the first game. And you can actually check these out on replay, all of the action as well. So this here is the back of the game you can take a look at. I know you can see the computer here, but there's the back. Let's go ahead and open this up. Oh, and I still have to try and remove the security label. Oh, that's right, because the bottom here didn't come off. There we go. All right. So on the inside of the case, we do have lots of carnage, as you can see here on the disc. We do have an instruction manual on the inside, and as always, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at that really quick. The instruction manual is in black and white. It's not in color. They all can't be in color, so that's fine. There isn't any kind of warranty card, which is too bad. So I don't have a lot to show you in terms of that. But yeah, this game does have a race mode menu. So you have Wreck and Racing, and that is the mix between Demolition Derby and Racing, where you're getting points based on damage that you're causing to other cars, as well as where you finish in the race. Stock car racing gets rid of the crashes, really. Or let me rephrase that. It doesn't get rid of the crashes, but it gets rid of the credit you get for crashing other cars. So the idea is to avoid collisions and just try and finish first. And then Destruction Derby, which is just the all-out carnage for cars, which is my favorite thing. The soundtrack in this game is pretty good as well. It's all original. It's not any kind of licensed music, but the music definitely has a harder rock edge to it, and me being a hard rock guy, I definitely appreciate that. And that's one of the things I remember about this game from '96 was the soundtrack is just awesome. I had one or two tracks in particular that I really liked. I can't think of them off the top of my head at the moment, but they really stood out to me, and I would use those while I was racing. I think it was like the first or the second track of the game. I think it's the second track of the game. While you're going down a hill, there's a little raised embankment or a little ramp that you can go off of. And when your car catches air off of that, it is really, really sweet. It is a fun experience. Even if the game isn't the deepest around, by now the Demolition Derby aspect wasn't a new thing. It kind of cleaned it up a little bit. But to me, it's still really enjoyable. And these weren't the last. There was a Demolition Derby Raw, or Destruction Derby Raw, I believe. And there was also Demolition Racer from Interplay, which is also a lot of fun as well if you happen to find that. So that is a look at Destruction Derby 2 from 1996. A very, very fun racing game. If you've played this before, I'd love to hear about your experience with it in the comments. Please talk to me. Let me know what you thought about it if you've played it. If not, I recommend going out and taking a look, see if you can find it for your PlayStation or your PlayStation 2 or even your PlayStation 3, as those systems all run original PlayStation games. We have more games to come. You can see them right over here behind me. We will get to those as time allows, including a trio of games for the PlayStation 2 that I'm really excited to open, and that will be part of a series, and I'll try and get to those really, really soon. Thanks as always for watching, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe if you like to see this kind of content, and comments are always welcome. Until the next time, my friends, see ya. Take care.